In today's video, we're going to be talking about 5 ways to open a man's heart to you. These are incredibly powerful, so be sure to stay tuned because we're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, my name is Marchant Johnson with Love Life Coaching, and I am blessed to help single women around the world meet and attract the right man for love, commitment, a relationship, and a marriage of your dreams. I'm so blessed to work with incredible women. And one of the things that I've also been privileged to do in my work is I've been able to interview hundreds of men over the last almost 15 years that I've been doing this work. And by interviewing men, I've learned important things that help women to have that kind of connection with a man that can bring that true emotional bond and intimacy the most women desire. And we're going to talk about things that men have shared with me that opened their heart to the women that they've now chosen as their girlfriends or wives. And some of these things may not be the typical things that you think of, although of course that initial attraction and that chemistry is important. These are some things that maybe go a little bit deeper and are some things that you may or may not have thought about. So let's jump right in. Let's start with number 5, and also be sure to stay until the end because I do have a really powerful free gift that's called 10 Secrets Every Woman Needs to Know About Men. And it's an audio and it's also an ebook that also shares some really interesting and juicy insights about men. Okay, so back to number 5. Number 5, one of the things that men have shared with me that's so interesting that they find really attractive and that has opened their heart to a woman that they've now chosen is that the woman is lit from within. So what does that mean? That means that she has this sparkle, she has this passion, she has this excitement, she has this joy about her life. And when she shares things about herself and about her life, she shares in a way where a man gets what I call these little heart glimpses into who she is. So when she shares details about herself or about her life or what she likes, what she's passionate about or what she cares about, she doesn't just state the factual information, but she shares a little bit of herself. So let me give you an example so that you will understand what that might sound like or what that might look like. So for example, if a woman is talking about a book she's reading, instead of just saying, I'm reading, well, I'll give you an example from Dr. John Gray, who's on my channel all the time, Beyond Mars Venus. Instead of just saying, I'm reading this great book by Dr. John Gray called Beyond Mars Venus, she'll say, I'm reading this great book. And would you be interested in me sharing a little bit about what I've learned or discovered in there? One of the things that I've discovered is that men and women are motivated by different things. And the things that we're motivated by or the things that inspire us are often really different. And I didn't really understand that before. And it's opening my mind to a whole new realm of possibilities in terms of how to understand each other a little better. Now, first of all, a man's probably going to be impressed that you're going that deep in trying to understand relationships and understand a little bit about men. That's just one example. Another example might be, you know what I'm really enjoying right now? I'm really enjoying watching the cooking shows on TV. Because even though I've never really considered myself to be a gourmet chef or a great cook, I'm having so much fun, picking a recipe here and there and trying something new out. And it's helping me to feel this creative, expressive part of myself instead of just saying, oh, I'm watching some cooking shows for fun. See, that's the factual information, but she's sharing a little glimpse inside her heart when she shares the other way. Or instead of just saying, yeah, I've traveled a lot in my life. That's true, maybe. Maybe she's traveled a lot in her life. That's factual information. But if she says something like, I love traveling because when I travel, I get to experience different cultures and learn about history and see amazing architecture and taste food and cuisines and see people and understand people maybe from a little different point of view. And I feel like it's totally opened up my world, my whole worldview in a really expansive way. And that is really exciting to me. That's one of the reasons I love traveling. So you see what I'm saying? When she's lit from within, or if she's really passionate about a cause, or if she really cares about something, and that excitement comes through in her face, in her words, it's almost like she's got a light coming on inside that is really inspiring and attractive to a man. So that's number 5. She's lit from within. And then she shares about it in like a way where he gets a glimpse of not only what she likes or who she is, but like what's really going on inside. It's a way of sharing. So the second one, which is actually number 4 in our list, because we're going backwards, is she's receptive. A man has shared with me on multiple occasions when I've been talking to various men how important it is that he feels like what he has to offer is something that a woman is receptive to or open to, or something that she would like or enjoy. In other words, a man wants to feel like what he brings to the table, what he has to offer to a woman, is something that she would value, that she would appreciate, that would be something that would add a dimension to her life. So one of the challenges for many people in relationships in today's world is because there are many, many high-achieving women, very educated women, in many cases successful, financially independent women, which in many cases is a wonderful thing. And yet it has taken away from men some of the things that they maybe have traditionally provided for women. Now, I realize not every woman or every man is in that situation, but it certainly is a trend in certain aspects of our society. And so even if a man's not going to be someone who's going to be supporting a woman from a financial standpoint or providing in that way that maybe in our grandmothers or our mothers' generations would have been more common, he needs to know that what he has to offer, what he does bring to the table, what he does add to her life is something that she's going to be open to receiving, and that also she's going to value that she's going to appreciate that. So it's important when we're interacting with men, if we're looking for a romantic connection with a man, to look for ways to give him opportunities to provide something for you. And that can be something as simple as advice. It can be something as simple as his opinion or his thoughts on something. It can be inviting or allowing him to do something nice for you, to do something that allows him to be of service to you in a nice way. And we're not talking about using men. We're just talking about, well, one place to start is if a man offers to do something and it's not illegal or immoral or whatever, be willing to say yes, be willing to accept his help, be willing to accept his help, and then to express appreciation. And sometimes it can be as simple as saying, let's just say you're out on a cool evening and you have a little coat or a jacket and you're standing up. You can just say, would you be so sweet as to help me on with my little jacket? You know, he can help you on. Yes, this is something you can do for yourself, but you're giving him an opportunity to provide something for you. The man needs to feel like he has a way of contributing to your life and adding value to your life, and that you're going to be open and receptive. And if you find that you're in a dating situation or a relationship with a man where you are not receptive or open to what he has to offer, or you don't like what he has to offer, he's likely the wrong man for you. So number 4 is receptivity. Number 3 is a woman is willing to show vulnerability. Now, when we talk about vulnerability, a lot of times we're thinking of sharing like those aspects of ourselves that we may not be as proud of, or that we might have some shame around, or that we might have some reticence to share. And that can be part of it. And I'm certainly not saying you spill all of your deep, dark secrets on a first date. There's, I think a relationship is like peeling the layers, letting someone see you a little bit at a time. So if you know about like those Russian dolls where there's the larger doll on the outside and then increasingly smaller dolls inside, revealing yourself to a man and showing vulnerability, I think, is something like that. You share a little something. Those heart glimpses that I talked about earlier is one way to do that, where you start sharing something, a little something about yourself that's not super vulnerable. And then as you learn to grow to trust him more and to feel that it's safe then you start sharing a little bit more. So he's like discovering you a little bit at a time. But you are willing to share a little bit about yourself, because a lot of times if we've been hurt or we've been disappointed in relationships, we build up invisible walls. We're so busy protecting ourselves that oftentimes we don't let someone see really a little more into our heart. And that makes sense. No one wants to get hurt. But Brené Brown says there's no intimacy without vulnerability. So ultimately, if we want to get to know someone and develop an emotional connection and have a man's heart open to you, we do eventually need to be able to show some vulnerability. Let them see who you really are. That's what helps create intimacy, that into me see. That is like, if we break down the word intimacy, that into me see, we're allowing a man to see into us. And one of the cool things about that is when we are willing to show that vulnerability, and like I said, you do it a little bit at a time, what that often does is that creates an atmosphere where a man feels like he can also reveal more of himself, and he feels like it's safe to share with you. And this is a really valuable thing to many men, because they don't often have a lot of channels to share these aspects of themselves with. They don't have a lot of open channels for that. And so that can be an incredibly valuable gift that a woman can share and provide for a man, as well as a man provide for a woman. So that's number 3, that's vulnerability. Number 2 goes along with that, and I've already kind of touched on this a little bit, and that's that you have an authenticity. See, so often in life, we go through life, again, trying to protect ourselves, and we want to look good. We want to avoid looking bad. This is human nature. It's all completely understandable. And yet, on the deepest core level, I think most human beings, men and women, desire to be loved and accepted for who they truly are. And I also believe that we can only have that when we allow that authenticity or that realness of who we are to come through, to really let someone see who we really are. And we're much more likely to attract someone that will actually be compatible with if we are real or authentic. So sometimes a key to not only opening a man's heart, but attracting the right person is to be more of who you are, instead of like trying to hide or pretend or be who you think somebody else wants you to be. Being the real you and allowing that authenticity, that vulnerability, those heart glimpses to shine through is what is really going to open the right man's heart to you. And also, again, make it safer for him to share emotionally, because men need emotional safety. Both men and women need safety in relationships, but for men, it's more the emotional safety, because as I mentioned earlier, most men don't have a lot of outlets for that, a lot of ways to share that, or a lot of people that they feel safe in sharing that with. So when you are willing to be authentic, you're more likely to attract the right person, and the right man is more likely to open his heart to be able to be real and authentic and vulnerable with you. So these are pieces that help open a man's heart for that kind of emotional intimacy and connection that we so desire. And number 1 is one that I've talked about before, and that is your warmth. And when we think about warmth, we think about kindness, we think about compassion, we think about gentleness, we think about acceptance, we think about sweetness. This is the kind of atmosphere or the kind of personality traits that help a man feel that emotional safety, where he can feel like he can really connect with the woman on that deep level. And it's amazing how when I work with my clients and I encourage them to show warmth in their conversations, in their tone of voice, even in their text messages or their messages online, it's amazing how that will melt a man's heart and open a man's heart. Because in so many aspects of our world and our society, there's more of a harshness or a hardness. And most women are capable, if they tap into this feminine side of themselves, of showing a real warmth and tenderness and compassion and kindness, which can be incredibly compelling to a man. And this is not something you want to fake. You want to like tap into this part of you, of who you are, because for most women, this is a natural trait or characteristic that we can convey. It just sometimes gets suppressed based on like experiences of disappointment or heartache or just kind of the hardness of the world. It becomes a way of protecting ourselves. And this is not about having a man take advantage of your kindness or your goodness, but it is showing that you're a safe person, that you're safe emotionally, and that you're going to be like a soft place to land. Because we're all out there in the world, both men and women, kind of like taking on the challenges of life. And it's so nice in a relationship for both men and women to know that there's going to be a soft place to land in a relationship where there's that emotional safety, where there's that connection, where there's going to be compassion when we're not perfect, when life isn't going perfect, where there's going to be support when there's challenges, and where there's going to be love and connection ultimately in the right relationship. So let's just quickly review these again. These are 5 keys or 5 ways to open a man's heart to you: being lit from within, sharing those passions, sharing a little bit about yourself, giving those hard glimpses, being receptive to what a man has to offer, being vulnerable, being authentic, and showing that warmth. These are 5 keys that men have shared with me in our conversations when we've been able to talk about what it was about a particular woman beyond that initial physical attraction that really, really opened his heart to her and made him want to have more of a deeper connection and emotional connection and relationship with her. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have and have any comments or would like to ask a question, please do so below. If you've liked this video, please give it a like. It helps my channel so much. Share it with your friends if you like it, and be sure to click in the description for the free gift, 10 Secrets Every Woman Needs to Know About Men. I think you'll find it valuable. I appreciate the opportunity to connect with you. Sending you love, blessings, and looking forward to connecting with you here again. Bye-bye for now.